Setting up an SRX1200D or MD receiver for multiple sensor tags. First off, you have to log on to your receiver, go to your host setup, make sure that your COM port is selected, USB 3. You can scan the list to find out if there is one on it. So there you go, an SRX1200 DP1. And you just press save and then USB open. As you can see, a few of the icons have lit up, showing that you are able to log on. Logged on and mode should show none in code log, and then just log on. Generally you have to put a password in, but I've set mine up so you don't have to, and you can do that as well through the host setup under access. Press save. Okay, now this one is actually in code log, so we're going to just put it into idle because we're going to do a few changes to it. And we're going to go into the project editor, and as you can see, these tabs at the top, setting up for various antennas, filters, sensors, and even sleep schedule in this particular variety. These have the ability to go to sleep for a while and then wake up and monitor again. Okay, so we're going to go back to the original page, which is scan settings. Set up your scan time to about half a second longer than the burst interval of your transmitter. So if you have a 5 second, you'd set it at 5.5. If you have a 6, you'd set it at 6.5. Use GPS clock sync, which is great if you're laying out your receivers over a very long water body. All their clocks will be identical on GPS time. And if you're manually tracking, select GPS position and records. You just have to have that antenna that comes with the receiver and put it over your shoulder or somewhere where the sky can be seen, and it will record GPS locations for all of your events. These other items you don't really need in this particular case, but the most important is send to your receiver. So right here, send number 1, send, and it should say down at the bottom here, sent. Next up, we're going to just give it a channel. Oh, here we go. 164.400. It's a sensor tag, and it's on low-tech code set 5. We'll leave that, but to add another channel, if you want, just press add. I'll bring the little panel hidden away there. And type of channel, you're going to select sensor using these down arrows, low-tech 5. And then you just key in a frequency that's available to you of your transmitters. I'm just going to do 150.600. And then just press OK, and it will be added to the list here. Total number of channels is 2, and since we've changed something, you can see it down here at the bottom, changed. Make sure you send number 1. This sends it to the receiver. Next up, antennas. You only have the one on this D unit. I've got 4 ports, but I've only got 1 antenna. So I'll leave it at 25. Normally speaking, you're in the field, you're probably around 50 to 70 if it's a nice quiet area. You could go more, but generally the background noise starts having an effect. Just leave it where it is in the office. And now go to filters. Make sure enable pulse width filter is off. Noise threshold defaults to 10. Echo limit 15, that's for acoustic tags, so we have no use for it. And finally, the sensor settings. Okay, if you have low-tech 5 and you have a number of levels, generally speaking, you have the choice between 25, 50, and 100. 50 is fairly standard, but 100 gives you a better resolution. If you have TPA tags, which is temperature, our standard is -6 to 34 degrees C, and you don't need to change that. Pressure, this you might have to change. Defaults to 500, and lately tags have been going out with 21, 17, or 7. 7 is a very low depth pressure sensor, so this one in this case would have been 21 psi. You have to make sure that you got the right amount according to whatever your ship sheet says, because your codes will show up unusual. And last but not least, particular one is an activity tag, and it's 0 to 4G. And since you've changed this, make sure you send number 1. Now you're ready to listen for transmitters, temperature, pressure, and activity. And we can just go over here and go to code log, and then live view on, and you'll see the 2 channels switch from one to the other every 6.5 seconds. and that's the ODBA version of activity. There is also just straight up activity or jerk acceleration, and that has a little different scale. But it will come with your ship sheet, so you should be able to set it up. Like if it's a 12G scale or a 6 or an 8, you just set it up for 8 and 0, and that will show you the activity.